For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience.
Terrence Bates here with your Real America's Voice News Break. Thanks so much for being here with us. Congress is working to get the government fully funded. Procedural votes are expected as soon as today, with passage of the appropriations bills happening potentially as soon as tomorrow. In the meantime, President Trump is back at the White House right now. That's also where RAV congressional correspondent Benny Ray Harmony is. Benny Ray, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Terrence. Yeah, it is lots of noise happening here on Capitol Hill today and expected tomorrow as well.
All right, so let's start there with Capitol Hill and this budget thing. It's drawn out. Obviously, last week, President Trump brokered a deal for the Senate to pass these appropriation bills. Now it's back up to the House to kind of reconfirm and get them passed. Speaker Mike Johnson says he thinks he's got the votes to get this thing over the finish line. What's the buzz, if you will, though, around Capitol Hill as it relates to that?
Yeah, Terrence, well, the biggest thing is that a lot of people expected this partial government shutdown to end today, first thing this morning, after that funding ran out at 11:59 on Saturday night. But, you know, Hakeem Jeffries, he said that the Democrats, he said they would not partake in making this a smooth and fast passing of these appropriation bills because they're holding up on those DHS funding. But the thing is, Terrence, is that bill, that DHS appropriations bill, that isn't even in those 5 minibus bills that were passed by the Senate on Friday. So now we do expect, like you said, Speaker Johnson said tomorrow he expects he will have enough support for those votes. But Terrence, I want to point out there is only a 2-person difference in the majority. The GOP only holds 2 seats, you know, above the Democrats. And so this is looking to could potentially be a little messy. There's so much noise happening from, you know, Schumer and the Senate leaders to the House leaders and what Johnson is saying and what President Trump has said that he will ensure the shutdown does not last long. It's really up in the air as of now. Like I said, the 2 seats is the big thing. Now, Anna Paulina Luna, she mentioned, great congresswoman, by the way, but she is also saying that she will not vote to pass these appropriation bills unless Johnson adds in that SAVE Act, which we've heard a lot about election integrity. So I honestly, Terrence, you know, I am not quite sure what that vote is going to look like.
I'm curious if there's any wrangling within the White House, and maybe the White House is keeping its cards close to its vest, but any information from the White House related to whether they're making phone calls, whether they're encouraging lawmakers who may be on the fence to kind of push them back over the fence?
No, Terrence, we have not heard anything on that front. It's pretty light here at the White House today. The president does not, as of now, have anything open. So we have not been hearing a lot from lower press, from that press office in Caroline Leavitt. But I assume at that 3 p.m. signing today that we do expect here at the White House, hopefully the president will address in some sorts this government shutdown, because I know a lot of people are worried about this and they don't want to see that 42-day shutdown again, like we saw in October and November. Truthfully, Terrence, the country cannot handle another shutdown of that sort. And then looking forward 2 weeks, that is when the DHS funding is going to run out. So can we expect arguments? Can we expect conversations? You know, what is that going to look like, truthfully?
No, absolutely. You mentioned this signing. At this point, we don't know exactly what the signing will entail. But if, in fact, it does open up to the media, I imagine that the focus of the questions will be about this government shutdown and how to potentially move forward. You've got to imagine that's what all the questions, or at least a large part of the questions, will focus on.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up because that is the focus of a lot of reporters, a lot of correspondents here at the White House today is that government shutdown, because usually we hear a lot from the president, but even these past, even last week, Terrence, we were in that cabinet meeting with President Trump. He touched on the government shutdown right at the beginning. He said that he is not going to let it shut down again, but we did see, this weekend it did shut down, but he didn't even take questions from reporters that day in the cabinet meeting, and so. What is he keeping his cards close to his chest? We know President Trump, he in some ways does like to surprise people, and he likes to talk about things once he has a solution to them. I think that's one of the greatest things about this presidency is just the fact that when he speaks, it's real and it's about something that's truthfully happening right now. So I hope he speaks on that today and we get more answers for you, Terrence.
Absolutely. Benny Ray Harmony reporting at the White House. We, of course, will have more coverage for you throughout the day.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
I've always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light.
The factories from small towns to city streets. This is the fight for the soul of our nation.
We're watching Democrats attack democracy. Do not be fooled.
The strength, the grit, the greatness of the American spirit, all right here.
The left wanted power, not peace, but there's a resistance rising. A generation saying enough, enough. We've tried it their way, and it failed.
The Steve Gruber Show with your host, Steve Gruber, starts right now.
Brand new day here on the program. Glad to have you on board. Fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom every single day, putting America first. It's what we do. We can have shoulder to shoulder with you when it matters most. Who's in your foxhole? Let's get rolling. A lot to cover as always. Here are three big things you need to know. Number one, the 4-day partial shutdown of the government over. And once again, Democrats got nothing out of it. Just another performative political stunt with no actual value. Just typical Washington. Number two, the 84-year-old mother of today's show star Savannah Guthrie is still missing. Situation is bleak, but there may be a ransom note and there may be a suspect. Is any of it real? And number three, there is a conservative tidal wave crashing today over Latin and South America. If you haven't noticed it, you need to. A massive shift away from those failed socialist experiments towards strong Trump-style right-leaning leaders who put their people first, drain the swamp, and build walls against chaos. It's like the spirit of MAGA has hopped the border and ignited a revolution down south. Argentina, El Salvador, Chile, Costa Rica, Honduras, just a few to name. These nations are waking up, folks, and they're choosing freedom over freebies, security over socialism. Argentina among the first. Remember when that country was a basket case under socialism? You thought our inflation was bad? Theirs was at 211%. Poverty was sky high. Folks were scavenging for scraps in the trash can. Then along came Javier Milei, the chainsaw-wielding libertarian firebrand, a guy who channels Trump's no-nonsense vibe, elected in 2023. And by 2026, he's turned it around bigly. It all started with Doge-style leadership. Here he is.
Ministerio de Turismo y Deporte, afuera. Ministerio de Cultura, afuera. Ministerio de Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible, afuera. Ministerio de las Mujeres y Género y Diversidad, afuera. Ministerio de Obras Públicas, afuera. Aunque te resistas. Ministerio de Ciencia y Tecnología e Innovación, afuera. Ministerio de Trabajo, Empleo y Seguridad Social, afuera. Ministerio de Educación, adoctrinamiento, afuera.
Anyhow, you get the point. So here's what's happening. If you're listening and you're not seeing the video, he's at a whiteboard And these are government agencies. Afuera, afuera, I think is what he's saying. They're gone. Eliminating them. Inflation not great there, but it has fallen from 300% at the high end to 30%. Poverty has dropped from 57% to 27%. And the economy in Argentina is finally growing again. He slashed government ministries in half, as you just heard, fired tens of thousands of people that eliminated bureaucratic dead weight and pushed through 13,500 reforms to unleash the free market again in Argentina. Midterms in 2025, landslide for Milei, gaining over 40% of the vote and doubling his congressional seats. Why? Because he understands the truth about government. This was his speech at the World Economic Forum last year. Here he is.
Do not surrender to the advance of the state. The state is not the solution. The state is the problem itself. You are the true protagonists of this story. And rest assured that as from today, Argentina is your staunch, unconditional ally. Thank you very much, and long live freedom. Damn it.
Long live freedom, damn it. The state is the problem. Sounds like Ronald Reagan, doesn't it? The government is the problem. Now hop over to El Salvador. Nayib Bukele, another Trump-esque powerhouse. This guy's a security wizard. Back in 2019, El Salvador was the murder capital of the entire world. Gangs like MS-13 running the streets, extorting everyone from street vendors to CEOs. Homicides at 103 per 100,000. It was pure hell. Bukele comes in, cracks down with his iron fist. Mega prisons, mass arrests, zero tolerance. By 2026, get this, homicides 1.6 per 100,000. 1.6, down from 103. It's remarkable. El Salvador is safer than Canada and parts of the United States. Folks can walk the streets at night. Tourism's booming with Bitcoin Beach and international events like Miss Universe. Sure, the left whines about authoritarianism, but Bukele's approval rating over 90%. He's been reelected in a landslide, and Salvadorans are finally living without fear. That's what happens when you prioritize law and order over hug-a-thug policies, which is the opposite of what the left-wing human rights organizations want, of course. And Bukele has exposed that scam for what it is. Here he is.
Y la mujer violada y asesinada por esas tres personas, ninguna organización de derechos humanos llegó y dijo, miren, ustedes deben de dejar de violar, deben de dejar de matar, nosotros vamos a intervenir o vamos a gastar nuestros miles de millones de dólares que nos dan para funcionar, para tratar de evitar que esto pase. No, mientras eso está pasando, las organizaciones de derechos humanos callan. Ahí no dicen nada.
Now, I apologize for the Spanish, but it's important to understand Bukele and others, Milei, have become our allies. He's right about law and order. He's right about protecting his country. More leaders need to realize this. And frankly, they are. Chile headed the same way. The South American country just elected far-right Jose Antonio Cast in 25. He's promising to revive the economy, beef up security, ditch the leftist nonsense that tanked the place. Costa Rica, same story. This week, they voted in their most right-wing president ever, Laura Fernandez Delgado, who promised to work hand-in-hand with our DEA and wants to build a massive prison just like El Salvador's CICOT to get the worst of the worst off the streets. Add in Ecuador's Daniel Noboa, Bolivia's Rodriguez Paz, Honduras, the list goes on. 8 to 9 right-leaning governments are now dominating the region, eroding those progressive pipe dreams and communism. Thank God. But while Latin America is coming to its senses, we still got leftist holdouts right here in the United States sabotaging our security. Much like El Salvador's Bukele is used to, he tweeted out this: if you don't impeach the corrupt judges, you cannot fix the country. They will form a cartel, a judicial dictatorship, and block all reforms protecting the systemic corruption that put them in their seats. Take this Biden-appointed judge, Anna Reyes. She just blocked President Trump's move to cancel temporary protected status for over 350,000 Haitian migrants. Trump's trying to secure our borders, end this TPS giveaway that's been letting folks stay indefinitely, but no. The judge accuses him of hostility to non-white immigrants and slaps a stay on it, of course. Haitian migrants were offered temporary protected status all the way back in 2010. Temporary. It was supposed to last 18 months, but 16 years later, it's still in effect, and this judge trying to make it stay that way. Termination was finally set for February of 26, but now it's paused, pending another lawsuit, undermining our sovereignty, folks. These deep state relics are clinging to open border insanity while the rest of the hemisphere wakes up. It's proof America's leftists are the last dinosaurs refusing to evolve. There are going to be setbacks, we've seen as much, but the progress today is undeniable. It's good news. The Western Hemisphere is becoming the hemisphere of freedom and actual progress. More on this as we continue. Good morning. Nice to see you today. It's the Steve Gruber Show, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. I'll be right back.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
There's a light I've always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience anytime. So just go to angel.com/Rav and join there.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
There's a light I've always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas.
All of this change in the Western Hemisphere we're discussing ties into President Trump reviving the Monroe Doctrine, making the Western Hemisphere great again. No more foreign meddling from China or Russia or Iran or Cuba. Trump stepping up to lead. Look at Venezuela. He freed that nation from the tyrant Nicolas Maduro with a bold January 3rd, 2026 strike, capturing Maduro and his wife on narco charges, hauling them to New York City for justice. And now interim President Delcy Rodriguez is in charge. But Trump's running the show, make no mistake, lifting sanctions, privatizing oil, securing 50 million barrels for America and Venezuela. Revenues flowing to benefit both countries, and that's a smart deal. And now Cuba's next. Cuba is next. Listen.
It's a failed nation now, and they're not getting any money from Venezuela, and they're not getting any money from anywhere. It's a failed nation. Mexico is going to cease sending them oil. So I'd like to take care of the people that are here from Cuba. You know, we have many people that came from Cuba that were thrown out of Cuba or that fled Cuba. I mean, they came over on rafts. They went through shark-infested waters. I don't know how they did it. And that was many years ago. Many would like to go back. Many would like to at least visit their relatives. And I think we're at a pretty close point. We are dealing with the Cuban leaders right now.
And how are they doing that? Well, Trump is squeezing their oil lifeline with tariffs on suppliers like Mexico now, forcing them to the table. He says we're talking to Cuba's top brass and a deal is coming, ending their socialist nightmare, just like Venezuela. This is what 65 years of communism actually looks like. It's pretty bleak. It's why so many Latin and South Americans are coming to their sense, while Trump's making the hemisphere safer, stronger, without endless U.S. handouts. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum says Trump is still putting America first no matter what he does. Here's the secretary.
With President Trump, you know, whatever deal that he strikes is going to be good for the American people. And this is just another example of President Trump understanding that energy dominance leads to peace abroad. It leads to prosperity at home. And energy dominance allows energy diplomacy, the ability to take a country like Cuba that was in cahoots with Venezuela, with their corrupt government, Cuba providing security forces to Venezuela, providing other assistance to that, and then in trade, getting Venezuelan oil sanctioned with President Trump now enforcing sanctions. Unlike prior administration, the Biden administration had sanctions on Iran, Russia, others, and then we just turned we turned all these countries into China's discount gas station, and then these countries kept on funding wars and fueling terrorism. With President Trump, when he puts sanctions on, it means something, and then that creates negotiating leverage, and good things happen for America.
That's right. It'll be good for us. It'll be good for the rest of the world, too, if they're being honest with themselves. You know who else knows it and realizes it? Bill Maher. He gets it right sometimes. Here he is.
Every one of them.
If Venezuela causes Cuba to fall, if he somehow gets Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran all to be not these horrible places they were, he should get a Nobel Peace Prize.
He should. You're absolutely right, Bill. Here's the beauty of it. When it comes to our southern neighbors, these countries taking responsibility for their own security and well-being is a win for America. No more flood of illegals at our border because places like El Salvador are safe havens now. Stronger economies mean better trade partners. Less drug cartels funneling poison to the north. Trump's doctrine empowers them to stand tall, self-reliant, prosperous, MAGA style, if you will. Contrast that with Canada under Mark Carney. Talk about socialist self-destruction. This guy's the new PM, cozying up to China with a January 2026 visit, sealing trade deals while hiking defense spending and pushing austerity. At Davos, he's ranting about a rupture in the world order, calling on middle powers to stand against Trump and bloviating and blaming everyone from Trump to conservatives in his own government for his country's economic slump. What a toad. Here he is.
The biggest risk we have to affordability, the biggest risk we have to this economy is Donald Trump. So first and foremost, we've got to get that right. Second,
Mr. Speaker, one of the impacts, according to TD Bank, on food prices is the fall in the Canadian dollar caused by the obstructionism of the members opposite before this government came in place. What this government is giving Canadians is certainty.
Yeah, okay. Good luck fixing your country when you're spending all of your time blame shifting and blathering about nonsense. This is a not-so-thinly veiled socialist shift, more government control, moralizing on climate while ignoring real threats. Carney's a neoliberal wolf in green clothing. But as China reset, an anti-U.S. posturing screamed left-wing delusion. Canada's economy is stalling. They're heading for the same cliff Latin America just climbed off from. Folks, the message is clear. Trump's vision is winning hearts and minds and nations. Latin America is rising. Cuba's on the brink. Venezuela's liberated. And while Canada's carny flounders, it's time to make the whole hemisphere great again. And he's doing that. There you have it. There's the monologue. Did you know that American homeowners nationwide have over $32 trillion in equity, and cyber criminals are targeting it with a growing scam the FBI calls house stealing? House alarms, doorbell cameras, deadbolts. They don't work against these thieves. They're not after your stuff. They're after the equity you've built in your home after paying your mortgage all these years. If your title is not being monitored, scammers can transfer the title into the home into their name using a few documents down at the county. Then they take loans against your money. Or they could even sell behind your back. And the worst part is you don't even find out until there's a collection notice in your mailbox. By then, however, the damage has been done. The best way to protect your equity is triple lock protection from my friends at Home Title Lock. Triple lock protection, 24/7 monitoring, alerts of any kind. And God forbid if the worst happens, restoration services at no out-of-pocket cost to you. You can check on your home's title today and make sure you're not already a victim. Use the promo code Gruber at HometitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You also get a free title history report plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to you, to any changes, and if the fraud should happen, they'll spend $1 million to fix it, not out of your pocket. Go to HometitleLock.com now. Use the promo code Gruber, HometitleLock.com. Promo code Gruber. Remember to support the great folks that support these platforms like this one. I'll be right back.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere.
Following the story that's in all the headlines right now, that's the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Donald Trump came out and said it's a terrible thing. He's supporting the family, hoping that they find somebody. And this despite the fact that Nancy Guthrie has put up many hateful messages on social media wishing that all MAGA people be arrested, and how deluded and dumb MAGA supporters are. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what she said. Looks forward to seeing the entire Trump family in jail and so on and so forth. Well, besides all that, we pray for her anyway and her safe return, because that's who we are. We don't wish ill on an 84-year-old grandmother to be dragged from her home at all hours of the night. About 2 in the morning, apparently, is when it happened. There may be a suspect, too. Could be her son-in-law. That coming forward this morning. But here's a little something. TMZ may have gotten a ransom note. Listen to this from yesterday.
We got something in our email that looks like it's written like a ransom note for Savannah Guthrie's mother.
Specific request,
and they're very
for certain amounts of money,
very specific. Bitcoin. And also they say at the bottom there are certain things they're saying about what she was wearing and damage to the house.
That they're clearly saying to verify that
it's us.
We know what we're talking about here.
So we've contacted the Sheriff's Department,
all right, Harvey,
and we want to get them this letter.
they weren't the only ones. At least one other television station got a similar note that pointed out, here's a specific amount of money. We want it delivered in Bitcoin. Apparently, they verified it was a legitimate Bitcoin address. My question would be, why on earth would you want Bitcoin at this point? It's collapsing in value, but hey, whatever. Maybe you're not too smart. Anyhow, some attention is now being given to Annie Guthrie, Savannah's sister, and her husband, specifically Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law, as a possible suspect, and just possible person of interest. Do you like that better? We always called them suspects when I was a young journalist. Now it's person of interest. Well, whatever it is, it seems the investigation may be moving forward. There, you're up to date on that. I've got a lot more to cover here today. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Nice to see you today. I'll be right back.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere. Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice. When you advertise on Real America's Voice, you're not just running an ad, you're partnering with trusted voices like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and other influential hosts. Backed by millions of monthly listeners.
What's happening? Because of a Real Voice, man. I watch it all the time.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Real America's Voice gives sponsors the chance to put their product front and center, displayed on screen and highlighted by our anchors during exclusive segments and live events.
Head to freetrumpknife.com.
This means your brand becomes part of the conversation as it happens.
Secure your spot before it's too late.
Join us today and make your brand part of the news conversation that America's viewers trust. Real America's Voice, where your message is seen, heard, and remembered.
This is Diane from Rhode Island. Why do I love Real America's Voice? Because they deliver us facts from hosts who love America and love God. What's not to like?
Hey y'all, it's Nancy from Texas. Real America's Voice gives us truth, not propaganda, and we need that. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Bridgie, and why do I love Rob? Well, even out here in the cornfields of Iowa, I still need news I can depend on. That is Real America's Voice.
All right, back to it now. I heard on the radio yesterday, I guess, that there are mortgage rates out there now well below 5%. First time we've heard that since Joe Biden was in the White House and everything went haywire, right? That's good news. Can you afford a house? Can young people afford a house? That's been a big part of the conversation in Washington for the president and his administration. Well, Ed Brady joins me now. He's the president and CEO of the Home Builders Institute. Ed, welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning, Steve. Thank you.
So how are housing starts? How is building in America? How is home ownership going for new houses anyway?
Well, it's a little slower today. As you mentioned, opening up here, the interest rates have been high over the last 12 months, 24 months. Now, I say that relative. High for me was 11.5%, 12% when I first bought a home. But compared to the 2.5%, 3% interest rates that we've had during the COVID era, they're still a little high, certainly for first-time home buyers. And so affordability is the critical issue here. It's not the demand. Young people want to buy houses. It's just the affordability issue has kept them out of the home ownership.
Yeah, one of those problems from where I sit clearly, having the skilled trades to get it done: HVAC, plumbing, electrical, carpenters, finish carpenters, roofers. They're in big demand because apparently everybody went to college to become coders or something, and now AI has quashed those dreams. But AI doesn't replace a carpenter or an electrician or a plumber now, do they?
No, exactly. And you're right. I mean, everybody was socially forced into four-year universities, and I got to ask, how did that work out? 60% didn't graduate. They still have college debt. They don't have a degree to market themselves. And so, yes, over the last 30 years, we have not pushed or not informed or introduced young people to the trades. Historically, the trades have been an honored profession, and we're pushing to move that forward in a progressive way, that it is a great career path to become a carpenter, electrician, plumber, HVAC tech, as you said, painter, drywaller. And we're at HBI, the Home Builders Institute, training Americans for American jobs. We don't export these jobs. We keep Americans here. And, it's hard to find a plumber at 2 a.m, and certainly AI is not going to fix your plumbing leak ever, but certainly not at 2 a.m. And so this is a really good career path.
And let me be really clear about something here, Ed. Let me be clear about something here. If the toilet's clogged and overflowing at 2 a.m, Mom's not happy. Mom, not impressed. And if you can't fix it, you're on the phone with a plumber who can fix it, who's getting that premium cash to come to the house at 2 a.m. and fix the toilet, right? I mean, it's real money. It really matters, doesn't it?
That's absolutely right. And you will be hard pressed to find a plumber to show up at 2 a.m.
Well, and here's the other thing: these are scalable businesses. If you're a plumber, you can hang out your shingle. Then you have a plumber working for you. Then 2, and then 10. You can build a business today. Roofing companies, carpenter companies. Try to find a handyman these days. I dare you, folks. I do. You just want a few things done. That's one of the toughest things to find, Ed. Oh, I just need a couple of windows fixed. I just need a little something done. Good luck. And stand in line, right?
Yeah, and we're both, smiling and joking about this, but this is really
serious.
We're at a critical stage in our country. 250 to 350,000 open jobs in the trades, and I started as a carpenter at 14. I learned under a master carpenter, journeyman carpenter, and I've been able to use that skill throughout my life. But I also took that foundational skill, and became a superintendent and a construction manager, and then ultimately a builder. And so this industry, this opportunity provides entrepreneurship to own your own business. And that's something that we have to sell. When you go to work at McDonald's, it takes $400,000, maybe more now today, to start a franchise. A pickup truck and some tools, and you're a contractor. And so I think we have to promote that opportunity and create a career path for the young people in our country.
And that's what you do, right? The Home Builders Institute, you build academies. You have plumbers, electricians, roofers, drywallers, framers. I'm just reading the list of the things that you offer people. And you've got locations in Orlando, Florida, New Orleans, Houston, Phoenix, Sacramento, Charlotte, North Carolina, even in Puerto Rico. You've got places all over to give people the opportunity to get into a position that AI is never going to take their job. They're always going to work. If you're a plumber, electrician, you're an HVAC, you're always going to work because of the shortage that you just pointed out. You get into it now, even if you change careers and you're 40 years old and you can learn to do these things, which you can, you've got a career for the next 25 years, right?
And it moves with you. I mean, you can learn it in Chicago, but you use it in Tampa. And so, yes, we're opening up these opportunities. We're pre-apprenticeship. So in many cases, we're introducing this career path to people, whether it be displaced workers, somebody that's upskilling, or somebody in high school. We're also trying to diversify this industry, quite frankly. Women in construction. I mean, this is a job for women today, which wasn't promoted 30 years ago. It's a job for second chance. It's a job for those that are looking to work hard, to put in the time, to learn the skill, and then, as you said, open your own business someday.
Yeah, I don't care who runs the wires as long as the light switch works, right? I mean, what do I care? If a lady comes in and does it, good for her. I'm paying the bill because I'm not an electrician and I'm not a plumber. All right, so HBI, how long does it take to get through school there? You say it's pre-apprentice, so you go through the school, you learn the basics, and then you go on and become an apprentice somewhere or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah, we have anywhere from 9-week courses to 1-year courses. And so it depends on how much time you have. Many of our students are trying to support themselves during this education. And so we accelerate that program so that we can get them on the job. This industry, call it an apprenticeship, call it on-the-job training, whatever the case may be, we put a lot of our students into apprenticeships. That's a 4-year process. Many of our students go into the residential construction industry that are not involved in apprenticeships. They're on the job training. It's like playing the piano. You do a three-way switch in electrical. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And so it's critical to have on-the-job training. And 2-3 years down the road, as you said, you've really learned how to do this.
Well, you become certifiable. I mean, I know here in Michigan, you have to be certified, right? In pretty much everything you just said there. But if you're on the job training, and I know people in HVAC, for example, here locally where I am, they're hiring people with no skill at all, no skills at all, and training them on the job to make them part of their team going forward. And that's a remarkable thing. Real quickly, how do people find you? You've got 7 campuses. How do people find you?
Yeah, well, we have 7 campuses, but we're in 430 high schools. Go to hbi.org, hbi.org. That will give you a map of where we're located and what type of programs you can enroll in. Ours is tuition free. We're a grace of philanthropic and some contributions, and so it doesn't cost you a dime, costs you some time and effort. And
very nice. And
you're able to get into our programs.
We really appreciate you being here, Ed. You're doing the right thing, and I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for promoting us.
Absolutely. HBI.org. You know somebody wants to work with their hands? There it is, HBI.org.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere. Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice. When you advertise on Real America's Voice, you're not just running an ad, you're partnering with trusted voices like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and other influential hosts. Backed by millions of monthly listeners.
What's happening? Because of a Real Voice, man. I watch it all the time.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Real America's Voice gives sponsors the chance to put their product front and center, displayed on screen and highlighted by our anchors during exclusive segments and live events.
Head to freetrumpknife.com.
This means your brand becomes part of the conversation as it happens.
Secure your spot before it's too late.
Join us today and make your brand part of the news conversation that America's viewers trust. Real America's Voice, where your message is seen, heard, and remembered.
This is Diane from Rhode Island. Why do I love Real America's Voice? Because they deliver us facts from hosts who love America and love God. What's not to like?
Hey y'all, it's Nancy from Texas. Real America's Voice gives us truth, not propaganda, and we need that. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Bridgie, and why do I love Rob? Well, even out here in the cornfields of Iowa, I still need news I can depend on. That is Real America's Voice.
All right, back to it now. I just watched when I sat down this morning. Chris Cuomo, you know him, used to be on CNN, does his own thing now. I think he's on News Nation maybe. He was on with Patrick Bet-David, big podcast, and says, you know, I've got to admit it, I take ivermectin every day. Here's one of the guys who was the loudest voices making fun of people like me who took ivermectin during the pandemic, right? Still have it in my medicine cabinet because it's safe and effective. So even those that were the loudest, vicious critics, I guess the truth will set you free. Joining me now, Peter Galuli, the CEO of the wellness company. I bet that puts a smile on his face today. Peter, good morning.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
He was one of the loudest, like I said, most vicious voices. If you took ivermectin, it was a horse dewormer. You're doing nothing smart. Ivermectin. The reason they didn't like it is it's cheap. It's not owned by anybody. Millions of doses go out every day. It's effective for a whole host of things. And he takes it as a contraceptive toward disease, right?
How the tables have turned, Steve.
Yeah.
He said on CNN that anyone promoting it should be shamed. And now he's taking a regular dose to help deal with his own struggles with long COVID. He's been using it to help with his ongoing inflammation that he reports, as well as brain fog.
Well, it sounds to me like vax injury that he's using it for, which is also applicable, right? Go ahead.
Potatoes, right?
Right.
And here we are with Cuomo doing probably the greatest 180 in history. Look, at the end of the day, I'm glad at least he has the courage to stand up and admit it. Right. You still don't see Don Lemon and some of these other CNN hosts brave enough to go out and say that they were fed wrong information and were promoting the wrong narrative for years. But look, Chris Cuomo is now seeing the light. I really hope he gets better, and I hope that the ivermectin that he's taking really helps with the condition, because, you know, vaccine injuries here are no joke. Many people are totally disabled from these things, and I really.
Yeah, they certainly are, and that's a problem. Now, ivermectin, it won the Nobel Prize for medicine, but it's useful in so many different places. And I want to point out February is National Cancer Prevention Awareness Month. Cancer, obviously, is something that touches, we've all been touched by it somewhere, right? Almost everyone has either had cancer, knows somebody who does, family, loved one. Do you think more research should be done exploring the lost treatment options? And one of those is ivermectin, right?
We should find it offensive, Steve, that we haven't made better progress in treating cancer by the year of 2026.
Yeah.
The field inching forward. It's painfully slow. And what's worse, in my opinion, Steve, is that we still treat cancer as just something that happens to you, right? I mean, 1/3 of Americans will contract cancer in their lifetime. Think about that. 1/3 of Americans. And we're not really doing anything to actually help prevent that. Never mind treat it, right? At the end of the day, there are ways that you can help treat cancer. And I think to your point about ivermectin, there are a ton of drugs out there. Ivermectin is sort of the star of them that have shown tremendous promise in helping treat cancer and are low cost. They don't require these expensive rounds of chemo. I think we really need to do more research and really focus on ways that we can actually repurpose a lot of these old drug discoveries that we have for their anti-cancer properties.
Sure, and let's just be honest, Peter. Treating cancer is wildly expensive. Expensive drugs, big profits for big pharma in the hospitals and the healthcare industry. Ivermectin's cheap. Mebendazol's cheap. When you put these two things together, they work very well and should be studied more. They also get rid of parasites. You also have, other things that are beneficial for these drugs, but they don't make big pharma big cash, so it gets ignored. And I don't mean to be that cynical, but it feels that way to me from where I'm sitting.
You're exactly right, Steve. In America, there are only two classes of drugs that doctors actually can receive commissions on for prescribing to their patients. And those two classes of drugs are, Steve, one, vaccines, and two, chemotherapy drugs. Imagine that. And I hope really the audience now looks at both of those two classes of drugs a little bit differently. Vaccines and chemotherapy, doctors are actually compensated for the amount of those drugs that they prescribe their patients. So, of course, that's going to be the first option when you walk into many doctor offices, is going to be to get you on one of those two things. And it's holding us back.
Yeah. Now, the good news here today is, like always, you and the doctors, you, Peter McCullough, your team, Dr. Victory, all of them, are always researching and digging deeper and studying and trying to find things that maybe haven't been done before. You have a brand new product called Shield, and it was in relation to Dr. Victory's own journey with cancer. Tell us about Shield and how it works.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So, Dr. Victory has a really inspiring story about how she beat her own battle with cancer, and that was really the inspiration for this product. Look, we all have cancer cells in our body every day, Steve. You, me, everybody. Our immune system's job to clean up those garbage cells and flush them. And one of the real reasons why cancer can grow and spread is because you have a compromised immune system that isn't able to clean up work. And that goes kind of double if you have certain indications with metabolism. So Dr. Victory, when she was in her own cancer battle, was looking at all these different compounds, most of which were natural, that could really help give the immune system all the tools it needs to help clean up these cancer cells. And when you're on something like chemo, the thing that really suffers is your immune system, right?
Sure.
And that's often why cancer has recurrence, comes back.
Yeah.
So Dr. Victory designed Shield. It's a two-part product. It's a soft gel with a hot cocoa mix that contains over 12 different nutraceuticals between the two. And it's meant for daily use to keep your immune system at tip-top shape so that you actually can do the hard work of fighting off dirty cells. And
I want the audience to go find this right now, twc.health/Gruber, twc.health/Gruber. Go find this brand new product, Shield. You'll find all sorts of great products at the Wellness Company, twc.health/Gruber. Find Shield. Peter, I got to run. Really appreciate it. Great new product, as always.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere.
The Somali Waltz.
Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice. When you advertise on Real America's Voice, you're not just running an ad, you're partnering with trusted voices like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and other influential hosts. Backed by millions of monthly listeners.
What's happening? Because of a real voice, man. I watch it all the time.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Real America's Voice gives sponsors the chance to put their product front and center, displayed on screen and highlighted by our anchors during exclusive segments and live events.
Head to freetrumpknife.com.
This means your brand becomes part of the conversation as it happens.
Secure your spot before it's too late.
Join us today and make your brand part of the news conversation that America's viewers trust. Real America's Voice, where your message is seen, heard, and remembered.
This is Diane from Rhode Island. Why do I love Real America's Voice? Because they deliver us facts from hosts who love America and love God. What's not to like?
Hey y'all, it's Nancy from Texas. Real America's Voice gives us truth, not propaganda, and we need that. Thank you so much.
Well, the Clintons are going to be answering some questions. We're going to talk more about this. I mean, pull up bite 3, would you, Anthony? You've got to hear this. This is Melinda Gates. The new Epstein file dumps, you know, the people on the left, they got their hair on fire. Oh, it's Donald Trump, it's Donald Trump. Well, Melinda Gates says, no, it was her husband. There was an email in there, a couple of them, back and forth between Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates. Bill Gates talking about getting an STD from Russian hookers and begging Epstein to help him to get medication so he could sneak it to his then wife, Melinda Gates, who later divorced him, of course. Listen to what she says when she's asked about it. Here she is.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, you know, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. That's the truth, right? And,
you know, here's the truth.
It's kind of like,
The truth is they keep trying to find some way, any way, to tie Donald Trump to all of this. But yet it's all these leftists like Bill Gates, globalist Bill Gates, out with Russian hookers with sexually transmitted diseases, trying to sneak a cure to his wife. Grotesque. Good God. By the way, one of the greatest places to watch this program, right there. See that QR code? Click right on it. It'll take you right to YouTube. By the way, the brand new podcast, Forgotten America, coming your way early next week. The first episodes are going to drop. You can find them on YouTube as well. We'll tell you more about that as we get closer. This is the Steve Gruber Show. 2 more hours. Don't miss any of them. I'll be right back.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz Waltz, available everywhere. Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice.